Hello everyone. Today we will see about the gut, how exactly we can maintain our health if we can take a little more care of you know what we put into the gut. Gut is one of the most important part of our body. We can say that it is the second brain, and whatever we eat has a direct relationship with our health. And also the daily habits of how we eat, the timings, and also how what we do in between, etc. Everything is connected, and ultimately that will lead to you know the energy required for our daily work, as well as the avoiding various diseases. Most of the diseases are connected to gut only. First of all, let's see what is the gut actually. Gut starts with the mouth and ends at the anus. This in between, whatever is there, we can say that the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, etc. All are in a sequence. It is connected to the gut only, and the stomach actually, the digests the carbohydrate, and the intestines takes care of digesting other than carbohydrates plus all other items, the fat and the protein, etc. These are digested in the small intestine, and the large intestine basically is move the whatever leftovers towards the exit point where we waste is expelled, and the nutrition is absorbed in the small intestine, and that is where we have to be very careful about it. The food we take should be such that it should not contain any chemical substance. Whatever grown in the on the earth, that is naturally produced, that is what is required for the gut. If you process too much, if you buy too much of processed foods and fast foods, etc., if you are going to take that, they contain definitely some preservatives, plus tasting agents, smelling and color and whatnot. Everything is being added just for marketing them, right? And they whatever they claim need not be true also. Even what they print in the the product, they say display list there, they need not be exactly the same, right? So we need to be very careful about choosing the items what we take, especially if we the whatever after eating, what are the you know activities we take the care of, then there will be much contribution towards the digestion of the food we take as such. And if supposing that the food is not digested, then there only the problem starts. It requires sufficient time for complete digestion. We cannot assume, no, we take a food and within half an hour, 1 hour we'll digest. Like that, we cannot assume only. Majority of the people, what they do during the night time, only the problem is created. See, when they reach home, many people, reach home not earlier than 8 o'clock, 7 to 8 o'clock they reach. Afterwards, when they fresh, they start cooking actually. They want to eat fresh food in the night. So takes about an hour for cooking. So up to 9, 9:30. And then they take 10 o'clock, they take. and 11 o'clock they sleep. That is where the problem starts. The undigested food, if it is remaining in the stomach, then that creates the problem. So it will not exit from the system. It gets locked up, and there the problem starts as such. The nutrition absorption is prevented if you are taking, food, and if it is not digested. The gut actually leaks whatever we put in. If it is undigested, it leaks into the system, goes into the blood, and there the problem starts as such. So many people don't realize that. They think, for years together they were been doing this, therefore it is correct. That's what they assume. Directly, they are not able to feel what is happening inside the gut. They think everything is normal, but actually it is not normal. Once it is, disturbed, then whatever they are taking, it is having an effect on their health, overall health as such. And also, in addition to that, if you are adding up certain habits, like, if we take, alcohol, then that will complicate the problem further as such. Because the alcohol is a substance which creates, the entire system is disturbed. Not only the fatty liver problem is created, this one upsets the system as such. When we take alcohol, then the material being, is not a foodstuff. So what it does is, people take it because of habit only, not because, that is good for health or something like that. Once they get habituated, they continuously take it, and their entire system is because of which upset as such. The digestion process is, no more in the normal condition, and which we don't realize immediately. And when everything goes wrong, completely goes wrong, because the liver get upset and your gut is leaking and everything, is not favorable for, for our daily, requirement of nutrition, etc. That doesn't happen. So what we take food, the purpose is totally defeated, and you land up into trouble. Especially if you are not consuming food in the night. If you avoid taking food after 6 o'clock, then your health is far better as such. If you don't take carbohydrate stuff, then you prevent getting cancer also. Majority of the cases, cancer is happening because, we consume lot of food in the night. Too much of carbohydrate, and don't take the right kind of food in the daytime. We need to take, the intestinal, bacteria. That's good bacteria is very important for the overall health. If you don't have sufficient good bacteria, then bad bacteria builds up, and then that creates its own problems. So that way we have to take, every single day we have to take care of them. Then our entire digestion process will be in control. Moreover, there are various other things. Our Indian system of medicine, that is Ayurveda, clearly suggests that gut has to be taken care of very much. And the food items should be, they have a combination, certain combination only we have to take food. Everything is already, defined. And timing is also properly, mentioned in that, when we have to take food like that. And night time is totally, we have to avoid, taking, heavy food. Certain foods we have to avoid in the night. And daytime, morning, you can take, whatever food it is required as such, like fruits and all, most preferable in the daytime, in the morning time. Night, if you're taking, you can take salads. If you take salads, then there won't be much of a, issues coming out of that. And sleep also is one of the very important aspect if you really want to maintain your health. Sufficient sleep should be there, and your timing should be fixed as such. Your food, if you are consuming a particular time, then that you have to keep it up. Then the system is, not disturbed. And sleeping time also, we should not vary too much. And the minimum number of hours sleep is also a must. Like that, if we can control our lifestyle, especially the habits, then you will see that you are not likely to get diseases. Even for, most people consult the doctors who prescribe the chemical medicines. That is where they get caught. Once they believe that they are able to help them, then you will not be able to, protect yourself from getting diseases. More and more you take their advice, more and more you are getting, trapped. See, I am not, telling them, blaming them. You yourself can go and check with them, right? They themselves, confirm that all the disease are not curable. The word cure is not there in their dictionary, right? Once you get a disease, it will be there, coming again and again. They believe that. Whereas if you are able to take care of your habits, then you won't get diseases often. Maybe you may get it, but you will be able to take care of it easily without medicines only. That is what is important. For everything, if you go and take these chemical medicines, then you are inviting trouble only because that is where the disease comes. If you are aware of that, then you will be able to protect your body from diseases. And not only that, if you are not having diseases, then you won't look, getting older. You will be, able to maintain, your, what you call, you can keep yourself, looking young. Looking young means I'm not talking about, going to the age youth. You look like a youth or something like that. I'm not talking about that. For less than your age, you can look better and you can maintain simultaneously a good energy and health. That should be our motto, and then we will be able to enjoy the life and live better.